the music scene really shows what people are about.
Share what's going on here in York.
Makes you feel like a family.
Local art has a face that most people can relate to.
Our community up here that sticks together.
Art is art.
Great potential, great artists, poets, singers, writers, directors, filmmakers. It's fantastic.
Everyone has a story to tell.
That moment, you have to capture that moment and share it with the rest of the world.
Showing something that maybe has not been seen before.
Without art, what good is life?
I am art. I've been art ever since I was born.
It really adds a great deal to our community.
We don't really need art to exist, but you need art to live.
Culture in Maine is important, and I think playing out is important, and playing open mics and playing wherever we can play. It's all about us all checking in with each other.
This is a good singing telegram song. It's actually a lullaby, but it works for any purpose. It can be a song that you deliver to someone to tell them that they are indeed to be comforted and reassured that they are being looked after and they are loved. It comes from the musical Peter Pan, and it goes like this. Tender shepherd, let me help you count your sheep. One's in the meadow, two's in the garden, three's in the nursery, fast asleep, fast asleep. Tender shepherd, watching over all your sheep. One say a prayers and two close your eyes and three safe and happily fall asleep, fall asleep.
Well, if well-behaved women rarely make history, then I am definitely here with one of the history makers of tomorrow, and I cannot wait to read about Mickie Singer generations from now and how her bardic storytelling style of contemporary singing telegrams has chronicled the wonders of York County for future generations. Now, you'll get to hear some of what she does a cappella, no instruments, just the power of the human voice and the strength of the personality that carries those words. But I also wanted you to hear some of the spoken words of this amazing Yorker who is providing a very special service for people that want to bring a little bit of art and some positive energy and some sunshine into their day. So now you have resurrected the art of the singing telegram.
Well, I'm trying.
What made you wake up one day and say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do?
Well, I don't think I ever woke up to that. I remember...
It's still a dream. It's still a dream.
It's still a dream. I used to watch all these wonderful black and white movies, and they would have the singing telegrams. You know, I thought that was so neat. And when I was a teenager, the people I hung around with thought telegrams were really nifty.
That's
and
true.
We used to have a ball sending each other telegrams. So I just loved that idea. And I honestly can't tell you at what point I thought, I think I'm going to do singing telegrams.
When I grow up, I want to do singing telegrams.
I still have no idea what I want to be when I grow up. None whatsoever.
Besides a princess.
Well, that is without saying.
You are officially Princess
I have a lot of titles.
Mickie
I have a lot of titles.
What are all of your titles?
Queen of the Universe. When I was teaching at Spring Grove, my students elected me that because I was always telling them when I did become Queen of the Universe, I would change all these things.
But until then, you still must learn these grammatical rules.
Oh, Lord, I never taught them grammar if I could help it. only by administrative command. So Queen of the Universe. My stepdaughter elected me Pumpkin Queen. which I've always wanted to be ever since I went to the Circleville, Ohio Pumpkin Festival and learned they had a pumpkin queen, because there's nothing better than pumpkins.
No,
Well,
there's not, and there's not enough pumpkin recognition.
there is not. Now, I will say the cotton candy is a close second, but really, pumpkins. So she went ahead and did that for me. My husband and I are the fairy king and queen at the annual fairy festival. I was going to say fairy forest, which is appropriate, but anyway, I think it was the year 2001 or 2002. I always forget. I'm not good on numbers.
That's amazing. And we actually did an episode where we went and visited Spoutwood Farms Fairy Festival. We had a whole fairy takeover. Yeah. And that is an amazing explosion of just color and energy and community.
Wings. Lots of wings. Yes.
Life is better. I actually had a good time being that I got to host a whole episode wearing wings of my own. So I was trying to figure out how to bring that into my work.
Carla,
world.
I think you always have wings. They may or may not be at all times visible to everyone, but I see them fluttering all over you.
I'm totally going to start telling people that.
I totally believe you should.
Look, you can't see them, but
they are there.
I have fairy wings all the time.
Well, would you like to know how to see the fairies themselves? Because there's only one way to do it. You cannot see them looking straight on. They will not be apparent to you. The only way to actually see a fairy is slanch-wise. And the way you do that is you hold your head completely still and you move your eyes from left to right. That's it. A little rapider, or more rapidly. Listen to me, the English teacher. There you go. There you go.
When will the fairies
Look in the corners. Look in the corners. You'll see them.
All right.
As long as it's slanch-wise. There you go. You got it.
I definitely saw the movement.
My father taught me that. And believe me, that man saw the fairies.
We're not allowed to have this much fun on the show. We're done.
Well, I'm sorry, then I'll leave.
No, never.
I don't go places where I can't have fun.
We're changing the rules.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I hope so.
So we have the Queen of the Universe here. You have the authority to do that.
I have all authority. And yes, I am working on other titles as well, because I've now moved to Crayley. So Mayor of Crayley may or may not already be taken up, but something. Lady of the River at the very least, because now I'm in York County now. I am as close as you get to the edge of York County before you drown. I was hired to do a singing telegram once for an employee whose fellow employees were really sad to see her go. She was moving out of town, and they felt that she was going on to bigger and better things, and they wanted her to know that that's how they saw it. And they also wanted to know that they would miss her. So I was sent to do this one for her. Do, 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 do. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. Those vagabond shoes, they're longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up in the city that never sleeps, to find I'm king of the hill, cream of the crop, top of the heap. Those little town blues, they're melting away. I'll make a a brand new start of it in old New York. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. So here's to you, New York, New York. There's also a version of that can be tweaked just a little bit and come out something like this. Start spreading the news. I'm staying today. I'll make a brand new start of it in York, PA. I want to wake up in the morning on East Market Street, and so forth. It's a fun thing that I've done from time to time as well.
So are you a York Countian born and bred?
I am not. I'm a Cincinnatian born and bred.
How'd you end up here?
I ended up here actually because the man I was married to at the time wanted to move back home. He was from Glen Rock originally.
Oh, the southern part of the county.
The southern part of the county. And he brought me down there when we were dating. And I'm city girl through and through. Never saw a cow till I was 19 years old. Okay. Embarrassed the life out of myself by once standing up in a movie theater where I saw a farrier, a horseshoer, and just stood on my feet in a moment of absolute revelation and said, my God, horseshoes are shoes for horses? Because I didn't know. I thought they were good luck. But anyway.
Right. They're not just for decoration anymore. They put them on real live horses.
Isn't that weird?
It is a little bit.
Horses wear shoes? I still can't grasp it.
Like, why not boots and stilettos and things?
Yeah, at the very least. At the very least. Or like those things that light up neon. Those neon light stilettos.
Sneakers.
Yeah. I saw that at Willie's store, the new hub, and I wanted to get them, and he wouldn't let me because he's a kind person, and they were size 11, and they were this big, and he knew I would kill myself, and he wouldn't sell them. But anyway, where were we? Did this have anything to do with singing telegrams?
Yes, we have moved into York County.
and out of York County.
And so now that once you arrived here, how did you start going out into the community and really discovering the connection with music and wanting to share that with people in this area?
I just so loved York. I felt it was a magic place. I wrote a poem about it saying York is a place where people come to begin again. And it just opened its doors to me. And I was not here more than 9 days when, because the Jewish Community Center, which I had been sent to by a mutual friend, a woman named Genevieve Ray, who had originally run for mayor, and she moved to Cincinnati, which is where I met her. She was the one who said, yes, you can live here. And I came, and so Genevieve said, here's people to introduce yourself to. And one of them was Alan Damachek. And I went down there, and he said, what can you do? And I said, well, I storytell. And he said, will you do it for us? Yes. Do you mind if we call the paper? And the whole living section of the York Daily Record, the entire front page was me 8 days after I'd moved in.
Welcome to York. Like, it truly is a land of tremendous possibility.
It is. It's a wonderful place. People who live here, who are born here, really, in some ways, I have found out, have no idea.
That's true. It's so easy when you are used to something and when you expect it to almost stop seeing it. I think the people that have moved here, and I say this with total bias because I did move here a decade ago and absolutely fell in love with it because I see all the possibility here, all the things you can make happen that would be so much harder to make happen someplace else.
That's right.
And if you're willing to just do the work, put yourself out there, and be willing to go talk to people and try things and take some risks, you can make anything happen in this area.
Yes, you can. And that's one of the things actually about stinging telegrams, because this is not an area where many people are aware of them, either as they were in the past or how particularly I do them, which is different from the way Western Union Telegraph people did them, because they would bring messages and they would be asked to simply sing the messages. So they would be singing, "Hello, John and Sue wants to say hello to you," you know, or like that. But what I do is I actually send out a song list to the requester. They choose a song, and then they're going to actually get the song as well as the spoken message. And do I get my audio-visual aid here?
Absolutely.
Where do I point it? At you or there or anywhere? Here it is. When I deliver it, afterwards they get the song lyrics, the message that I also speak, encased in plastic with a bow. So they'll have that, as a keepsake.
If people want to send a singing telegram and have someone receive their song lyrics and their sparkling bow and their personal message, where can they go to procure this ephemeral gem of entertainment?
You are a poet. Okay, this ephemeral sparkling gem.
Yes.
They can go on Facebook to Mickie Singer's Singing Telegrams, where unfortunately are listed numerous versions thereof, and the only one that is actually in operation has a photo of me there rather than an icon. They can go there. But I really advise them, it is quicker to go to my email, which is mindhearthealing@comcast.net. I think we
do.
We do. Here it is. It's easy to remember.
Absolutely.
The word mind, the word heart, the word healing at comcast.net, or to call me, there's that too, at 501-4294. Call now! Call now!
Operators are standing by.
Standing by, absolutely. And the reason I say that, they can reach me any of those ways, but sometimes I'm not always checking Facebook like I'm told I should be. I might be a little too busy to do that. So they'll reach me maybe a little more directly. If they don't hear from me on Facebook, do the email, do the phone number, or whatever.
It sounds amazing.
I'm here.
I can't wait to send someone a telegram. I just got to figure out the right person now.
Anybody can be the right person, any age, any occasion. Truly. The only thing I won't do, Carl, I will never go and do something negative or derogatory in any way. And I know there's the old joke about, oh, you're getting divorced, here's your papers. No. We'll never do anything like that. This is for joy. This is for celebration. This is for what Kenny Loggins calls conviction of the heart. It's to come and make people smile and watch faces light up, and sometimes tears come down at the fact that somebody has remembered them and gone to the trouble of sending something special and memorable. I'll tell you, I could walk in there and sing like a croaking toad, and it would still be something memorable because it was different, because it was heartfelt, because it was something a little beyond balloons and flowers and fruit. So that's what it's about, and having a good time and being able to just get out there and belt out without having to worry about accompaniment, anything. Just let the voice of the soul come flying out my mouth and throwing itself around the room and bouncing around and letting people have good feelings from that. That's the best part of it of all.
I love it.
I love it too. I'm going to sing this song because it's Carla's favorite. She just told me. And one of the reasons that I sing this song is it's my favorites, one of my favorites too. And because it has a lot of messages. If you were wanting to sing somebody this for a singing telegram, you can do it to say, cheer up and be reassured. You can sing it as a way of saying, good things are coming. Any way you want to do it. Here's your song, Carla. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Well, your daddy's rich, and your mammy's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna wake up singing. You're gonna spread your wings and take to the sky. But until that morning, there ain't nothing can harm you, 'cause your mammy and pappy are standing by. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Well, your daddy's rich, and your mammy's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Oftentimes I am sent to deliver a singing telegram to tell somebody else how much somebody loves them, and if they really want to say how much they love them, they throw a little passion into it. So this is always a goodie for that. It's an old standard from the big band days. Do, 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 do. You'll never know how much I love you. You'll never know how much I care. When you put your loving arms around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever, fever in the morning, fever all through the night. A fever when you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Do, 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 do. I do and do. The sun lights up the daytime, the moon lights up the night. I light up when you call my name, and babe, you know I'm gonna treat you right. You give me fever, fever in the morning, fever all through the night. Fever when you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Do, 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 do. Well, everybody's got the fever. There's something we all know. Fever ain't such a new thing. Fever started long time ago. You give me fever, fever in the morning, fever all through the night. Fever, yeah, when you kiss me, Fever, you hold me tight. A fever, I say fever. What a lovely way to burn, yes. What a lovely way to burn.
The first one, the book, Life's Work, this poem is, speaks for itself. A pile of words in some order, sequences that made sense somewhere along the way, stacks of yellow pad pages neatly folded and forced, forgotten into a drawer. Poorly typed, coarsely edited, suicide notes for every contingency, glib epitaphs for every season and grave. Faltering image through each age, memories of girls, of course, and whimsical philosophy wherein this ambiguous God presides. The dangerous days of fast rides and friends who have disappeared, a window of escape from the routine of need. Mixed in pictures and politics, sudden twists that seemed so clever then. Rhymes of hurt, and again a captured moment of dangling feet. Hours alone in the rain at the park, searching rabbit holes for cash, fired from everything and no gas in the car. Still, this persistent mountain of paper and ink, rubber-banded manila worries to explain. And here on top, an odd note of spring. I'm Tom Blomain. I'm from Scranton. I'm here in New York today to do a reading of my recently published book, Blues from Paradise, which came out from Foothills Publishing in late November of 2014. I have one other collection, Gray Area, which was published by Nightshade Press in around 2004. Tonight I'll focus mainly on reading Blues from Paradise. Pleased to be invited to come down here to this awesome venue, really. Lovely gallery, a lot of cool art, first time for me. Very much enjoy it, look forward to reading and interacting with this august crew. Eccentric and interesting crowd. September rambling. In September sometimes there is a flaccid aspect to sadness, a commonplace uselessness about it. Even mild crime seems clean, the dull joyride taken just to prove otherwise. The paths that lead us through a place like this are moist, leaving prints not easily alibied. The deliberate actions and accidental closets behind Oxford shirts and loafers twisting off the floor cry out to try again. Fear in September is less a frightening kind than a good numbing kind. Surely at some point those feelings that ached and made you fly will return like the honking birds above now. Again it must happen that you'll almost die from the suspense among the crowding shouts from autumn stadiums everywhere. When one small act knocks the world off its fat axis momentarily, and suddenly you're tumbling back to the dirt roads of your youth, where she turns to you seriously with something she just has to say. I mean, the title, Blues from Paradise, is an irony, obviously, and Scranton is depicted as paradise, largely. But it has a lot to do with my history growing up there and in and around the area, the region. There are a lot of place poems in this book, not so much in Gray Area. That was more, I'll say, philosophical. This book might be characterized as a little bit more political and personally political, socially engaged than personally or philosophically or spiritually engaged. This one, advanced directive, if you know what that is like a living list, the kind of thing, documents you want to have happen. When my days turn to paper, let me cough in my chair. Don't make me wear a straw hat or ask if I'd like to be in the shade. I confess in advance I wish to be richer and more handsome, to have left something sturdier than a mountain of ignorable words. Take all the moments that should point to some goal and drain them onto a page like a dish rag. A black and white photo should be included, but at what age? I don't really care if I'm bald by the time I'm through, but I do know that I don't want any straw hat I didn't choose. And I'd rather wear shoes than slippers, especially those brown vinyl kind you just slip into. Spare me that. If there's a nurse there, let her not be petulant, but let her smile at the jokes I hope to still make. Make her feel she should have taken notes. Let her know I was worth the wait. Well, I didn't sit down to do this collection. I just happened to, over years, evolve this kind of string of thematically related poems, and had the opportunity then to present them to Mike Czarnecki at Foothills, who really liked it and said, let's do something with this. So we did. My grandfather's books. Musty books my grandfather read, years on these shelves melting into themselves. From an age of canopied beds, where there was time for pocket watches and leather chairs, cigar boxes and afternoon cocktails, town squares and parasols. Sepia still life of this Swedish family, well-dressed people set in different rooms, ornate in gold leaf frames, pressed behind dusty glass and cartons on the storage room floor. He died on my birthday when I turned 3, leaving a cup from the king and royal storage yet to gain air of academies and yachts from Sheepshead Bay, somewhere between an Archbold pub and the Scranton Elks Club. A fool to think these miners would know his brown volumes were more like freedom than wages. The pages crumble now if you turn them like sand. This Pennsylvania coal town wasn't Stockholm, and talk of him I hear was of the smoothness of his hands, nothing like theirs, not a worker's, no soot on his clothes, yet he could drink with the best of them, and give vested discourses on faraway themes like the sea, holding his tavern crowd in a dream as they gazed at his brass-tipped cane. His grave in the plain dirt of America beside the Irish wife he found here holds his manicured bones. But these tones he read and sold in turn to those who would listen mark the parenthetical elegance of his brief mission on earth. But I met Mike. I've been involved for many years with Mulberry Poets in Scranton. And Mulberry Poets, I guess very similar to your series, or the one in Harrisburg, is a regional collection of poets, artists, writers, different people who get together, kind of itinerant, like, and do whatever we can, wherever we can, and make whatever we can with whatever money we have to do it with. But at one time we were able to have Mike come in. This is probably 6-7 years ago, maybe, to do a workshop on poetry and small literary presses and how to put together collections, etc. So I met him there, although reputationally we, I guess, had known each other, you know, through other parties. My sister Karen Blomain, who was a well-known poet, and my friend Craig Chury, who also, you know, that's kind of how we got connected. And so Mike asked for the manuscript, and I provided it to him, and he was all set to publish it. Then his place burned down. So his house and his publishing facility and everything actually burned to the ground. So a couple of years later, he surfaced and said, "Oh, I've rebuilt. I'm ready to go. Here's a draft of the book." So it was like 3 years after I had initially submitted it to him. Dark Region Road. Not quite to the river, the old sign on a pole for Dark Region Road. A narrow dirt path along a creek bed past farmland inside a forest, well beyond town. We went there as teens, learning to drive, miles from home, or so it seemed. Hearing the legends, we stopped to look and smoke. The tale of the loner parked with a shotgun after the prom. Just before dawn, the echoing sound, the stories would spin with each retelling, details mixing to new dimensions every time told. A haunting, of course, we didn't believe in. Not much in those bold school days of youthful might and loud swagger, pretending everything was always cool. We never did go there at night.
Well, I mean, anytime you read a poem, you want to change something as soon as you look at it again. Like, why did I do that? And yeah, and that's why I try not to do that. I mean, there comes a point where you just have to go. That's it. I'm not gonna change a comma. I'm not gonna take out a word. This is it. You know, because if you keep doing that, you will. And I'm kind of improvisational. I mean, as a musician, and you know, in other ways. So I will want to keep, I guess, refining, changing, and bringing things more current to me in my life, where really, when poems, like anything else, kind of are representations of the moment in your life or the period of time, and they should be left that way. They're poems, we've all done it, written, and there are a couple in Blues from Paradise that I wrote maybe when I was a teenager, actually. Some very old ones, and you know, I like to think they still hold up, and I've left them alone, and they just, to me, represent that little, you know, corner or station along the way in my life that puts me here, and evolved this theme, I think, over a long course of time, of being very fortunate, but still, as I've been characterized, kind of melancholy. Thematically melancholy, but that's where Blues from Paradise came from to me, because everything is sort of assert, spiritual, whatever, that you're trying to find some even ground that you could just exist in comfortably, right? And I think that's what Blues from Paradise, if it's about anything, you know, then that's kind of what it's about.
But I think this is the probably definitive one in the book, Conspiracy. Somewhere in the twilight period of the ordinary day, which is a life, between being young and suddenly old, ever since I was a child, I realized I conspired against myself at a lonely table, under a bare bulb flickering. Where the shadow of my hands played in quiet magic, I imagined drawing up the plans of my ultimate ruin, including charts and graphs I thought artfully done, with a grim smile or stifled laugh, then stamped and sealed in a grand envelope of phantom silk, and mailed home to an address I'll never have.
Now, every once in a while, I get lucky and I just happen to walk someplace and hear amazing music or poetry or see great art. But in this case, I stumbled upon the amazing Tuesday lunch series that they do at New Grounds, which is over on West Market Street in downtown York. It's a great coffee house under new ownership. Thad Shaw, who happens to be T. Shaw, our former guest, is now in charge of the entertainment and running the venue there. And he found Peter and brought him in to play piano. Now, I heard the sounds of everything from classical music to contemporary pop, and they were all equally beautiful and played with the appropriate sensitivity for that piece. And I know that that's really, really rare. So, yeah, I had to snatch him up on the spot, dragged him down here, and I can't wait to share him with you. Please, please welcome into your living room as I welcome into the studio, Peter Bottros.
Thank you, Carla.
Now, you are a York guy. Mm-hmm. Where have you been hiding?
Well, I've been living here for 17 years. Originally, came from Egypt, lived in York for 17 years.
How do you go from Egypt to York, Pennsylvania? Like that just, we don't run into that every day.
Honestly, it just happened. I guess it was God's plan for us to move over here for a better life, better opportunity. So.
How old were you when you left Egypt?
I was 10 years old.
So you still remember a lot of life over there?
Yeah, I still go back and visit.
So what are some of the things that are really different here? Like my friend is from England, and she said the weirdest thing about living in America is not all the stuff people think would be weird. She said what she can't get over is that we pay the same amount for a little soda and a big giant soda. She's like, your numbers just don't make any sense over here. That's what she notices.
Yeah, I mean, culture is a huge thing. And the food, different types of foods. So.
Are there just so many different types here or you just miss the food from back home?
I always miss the food from back home. I mean, I'm still used to it. I still remember it when I was little. So when I go back there, of course, I love to visit the family and all my friends there. And the food, I definitely love.
What is like a classic Egyptian dish that you would just that's like one of your favorites? I've never had Egyptian food before, ever.
One of my favorites is, it's called macaroni bechamel. It's close to lasagna, but it's a little bit different. It's made with bechamel sauce. I don't really know. I think that's what it's called here.
Yeah.
But that's definitely like a main dish for the Egyptian culture.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's pretty good.
I'm ready to Google now.
Yeah.
I'm going home and trying my hand at some new cooking. You don't want me to try my hand at new cooking. You don't. You really don't. You want me to be able to have pizza on speed dial. That's what you want from me. So in terms of the music, you have a really unusual way that you learned how to create music. It's completely not the traditional, I took my piano lessons and then moved on. So how did you begin to start creating music?
Yeah, actually, I never took any piano lessons. I was all self-taught. I actually started playing drums for church. Okay. That's how my passion for music started. And then all of a sudden, I started playing piano and I just fell in love with it. Just kept playing, kept trying to improve myself, and tried to be as good as I can get.
So if you don't necessarily read music or sit down and pull the different notes out, how are you able to create the pieces that you hear on the radio? I mean, some of them are originals that you might make up, but you actually do play traditional songs.
Yeah, I play pretty much by ear. So I can hear a song and I can just get on the keyboard and just play it out.
How long did it take you to master that skill? I mean, I know it's a continual thing. You're always mastering it.
Honestly, I've been on the piano for like a good 10 years. Wow. But for the last 5 years is when I really, really took it seriously. So that's when I spent most of my time playing, practicing, trying to get better. So the last 5 years is when I really, really took this music thing very seriously.
Now, do you feel like having worked in the drums first, did that influence your piano playing at all?
Oh yeah, for sure. It helped a lot, big time. Just keeping the rhythm, the beat in your head while making music. So it definitely goes hand in hand.
Nice. Yeah. So now you're working on an album right now.
I am, yeah.
So what's sort of the theme or the vibe for the album? Because you play everything.
Yeah, yeah. The theme for that album, it's more of a like a music scores type of music. So it's really just kind of relaxing stuff. Or, I mean, my goal is with my music, when people listen to it, I want them to get like a feeling where like they can think about their life or some of the stuff they're going through, whether it's good or bad. I mean, as long as I give them a feeling through my music and they feel some type of way and they get a good feeling out of it, then that just makes me good. That's what I'm trying to get out of my music, is giving people feelings and kind of just go through life and think about their life and some of the stuff they're going through. So
I love it. Well, let's get some of that music up here. So we're going to try a little culture and Maine experiment here. Peter actually has the ability to compose spontaneous music because he plays by ear. So I am going to pick a couple of random keys, and then he has to use those notes as the core of the composition. So, all right, let's see. I feel like I'm picking from a deck of cards. Pick a card, any card. Oh, I like that one. All right.
All right.
Okay. All right. So go.
Once a poem